Hi, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Lynn, and we are a coffee break
with Cat and Mom. Welcome back to our podcast. Today's episode 27, and as you can see, we are back on the road, and we are actually in Illinois right now.
Yep, outside of Chicago.
Yeah, so usually we start our episodes out with a little week in review, so we'll update you guys on where we're at right now and why we're in Illinois. We are originally from Iowa, and now we live in Florida, so we are coming up for the weekend to visit, and we just got off the flight.
It's Easter weekend.
It's Easter weekend. And now we have a 3-hour drive, or 2.5 hour.
2 hour.
Yeah, 2-hour drive back to Iowa from Chicago. So that after the flight is super fun. And we woke up at 3:30 this morning.
3:15. You woke up at 3:40.
3:40, yeah. I'm tired.
And it's an hour earlier here, so technically for here, we've been up since 2:30. 2:15, 2:30.
And then this past week, not much has really gone on.
Oh, you studied for finals?
I have a final tomorrow while we're here in Iowa, which is awesome.
Well, last weekend, I went with your sister to Tampa, Florida, for a huge TYR championship swim meet. And with all the past few weeks that your sister was working out and where I work now and you helping driving around, I mean, she didn't do as many practices as usual. And I don't know, I guess we were just hoping she was going to do as good as, she can. And she rocked it.
Yeah, she made it to finals. She did great.
She made championship finals in 2 events, finals in 5 out of 6 events, drop time. It was amazing. So she did really, really good. The drive back sucked, but yeah, so on the road again.
Yep. And I'm going to be going up to Iowa City tomorrow, or actually tonight, to see my childhood best friend, which we talked about her before, but our moms were pregnant at the same time with us, and we were born 8 days apart, so I get to go see her, which is exciting.
That was
not planned, but still a really cool coincidence.
She was due after you.
Yeah, I think she was due the 12th.
Something like that, if I remember well, yeah.
But
she came in first.
Yep. So that'll be fun. We're going to go out to the bars in Iowa City and celebrate. And I would like to mention that my shirt says, "I support a man's right to shut the fuck up." Shout out to Cheyenne for getting us this. She got me, my mom, my sister, and her all one. And yeah.
It's a funny joke.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not like
don't take it to heart.
I know some people took it like a completely different way than we took it, and it was just
whatever. It's whatever you want it to mean, I guess. But today, our coffee review of this episode. So every episode we do a coffee review to support small businesses and just promote small owners. And we went to Tortuga Beach Company, which is a coffee and bikini shop. It's mostly like a bikini store, but they also sell coffee there. Mm-hmm. And my friend Kennedy works there and makes the coffee, and they make banana bread fresh there and cookies. And it was amazing. We both got a latte. Shout out to Kennedy for being a little barista.
And see her. She's beautiful and so nice.
Yes, and
so
she went to Tortuga to promote the bikinis, and they're adorable. Like, they're so cute. She looks amazing in them. So go on our Instagram and look at it and go buy a bikini. So little shout out to them. The coffee was
Kennedy. Love you, girl.
Yes. And now she's like really into coffee too. So we might have to get her on the podcast to talk about coffee, because we are called a coffee break with Cat Mom. So I think that'd be amazing to have her on.
It'd be fun. So we're not drinking that right now, because the only thing we got was on our way here was
we'll
Starbucks.
Also review Starbucks. This is not a small business.
No.
I got the lavender oat milk matcha. So
it's just to keep us awake. Let
me try it after being halfway done with it. With me going to take a test sip. It's actually really good. I had my boyfriend and Amelia try yesterday, and they hated it, but I like it. I really like their lavender. I know their matcha.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the vanilla bean frappuccino, and it's busted.
Blessed. Okay.
And
my chai latte is okay.
Yeah.
I can't say it's bussin', but I mean it's doing the
Well,
job.
because they don't have like great quality matcha, but I mean the lavender tastes good, so that's great.
We're matcha. What do you want to say? Like snob now that we tried very good quality matcha,
Yeah.
high quality, whatever you want to call it.
But the topic for today, if you don't know, I mean, you did click on this video, so I hope you know. It's about moving. So it's going to be an advice session. This is our first advice session. Well, I guess last episode, she kind of gave advice for 20 Survival Guide. That was a really good episode, so go check that out. You get to hear some advice from somebody who actually has gone through their 20s. Oh, that car just almost went off the road.
So I'm changing lanes too.
But yeah, so this is our first podcast episode called Advice Session, and it's going to be about moving. I've moved to 2 different elementary schools and then moved to a middle school, so 3 different schools, and then I moved to college in Florida from Iowa. She moved a different country for school. If you don't know that, we talked about that in other episodes. Oh, my voice just broke out.
It's your matcha.
Yeah. She's moved to a different country and also moving homes
Yes.
and moving states. So it's kind of just going to be about the whole topic of moving and everything kind of under that umbrella because she just bought a house. So, woo! So
Yeah.
that will,
And we have
it kind of fits the topic.
2 little like spots in the new house that we're going to set up for our podcast too.
Yeah, which is awesome. We'll get a little podcast corner.
Yes.
And then we'll make it really cool. We'll get maybe we can invest in like those podcast stands, and they have like, you know, they have like their logo on the mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be cool, but
That'd be fun.
we would need to invest in that. So first, we're gonna start on the smaller scale, I guess, and it's gonna be moving schools. This I feel like some of these questions would pertain more to middle school, so I have to tap into middle school me, which is a little scary because middle school me was a weirdo.
You were not. You were fun. You're still fun.
I was weird, guys. Little,
Braces with glasses. Green glasses.
yeah. And I also want to expose myself. I started a fluffy grass club, so that was a really great impression that I left on the kids. There is, we all sat in a circle on this fluffy grass patch and talked about our problems. Like, what problems does a middle schooler have, or elementary
No, it
school?
was elementary school. You were in 2nd grade.
Yeah, God, it's so embarrassing. And then I made a song and I sang it in front of the class with 2 other girls.
She can't sing worth a shit.
So again, thank God I moved schools.
Oh my God.
So what's something you wish someone had told you the first time you walked into a new school? I hope they would have told me that nobody's gonna remember like that dumb outfit that you wore that day, or like that dumb thing that you said, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna remember that. And also, I feel like nobody's gonna really like remember my green glasses and braces unless you're like close with me. So I wish somebody would have been like, don't like care too much about that, you know?
Yeah, well, especially when you were like in 2nd grade when you moved. I don't think that it was maybe more when you went to middle school that was a little bit more of a
Middle
change.
school.
However, you guys switched when you were incoming middle schooler, 6th grade, and then your sister was 8th grade. So that was good. They had told us, like, the administration, do not switch a 7th grader because that's harder in the middle. And you had all your swim friends.
Yeah.
So that was already
nice.
kind of.
But also, like, either way, I wish somebody would have told me, like, you're going to meet your people, and then even, like, that friend group is going to change, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because, like, we went through, like, dumb drama, but you think it's the end of the world then. Like, what? She told so-and-so my secret. Like, it doesn't matter. So, that's a more smaller scale. We're starting small here. Did you ever move schools when you were younger, or did you kind of like stay in the same district?
Yeah. I started elementary school, went to the same school, then secondary school, which is what you guys call high school, and then went to college. And then I moved to the United States to go to become a chiropractor.
How do you stay true to yourself when you're tempted to reinvent yourself to fit in when like moving to a new school? Do you have any words on that?
Well, I think everybody is trying to find friends, you know, so you just want to fit in if you want to. But I think very quickly kids do. Well, I mean, I hope. I mean, I know you guys did. adapt and kind of maybe at the beginning change a little bit, and all of a sudden like, yeah, like these are my friends, whatever, and then but I think it's kind of a little bit normal that people will try to change a little bit to adapt to their new friends, and then hopefully quickly realize that these are not my people,
When I went to middle school, my first day, I knew these two girls I swam with, and well, no, just one. Yeah, two girls I swam with. They were sisters, and then my childhood best friend also was transferring for the first time. So like, we got to all be together. But this girl that I swam with was friends with the popular girls, so I instantly had like a seat at their table, and from the very first day, I didn't like the vibe of the table. Like, all they did was just like gossip, and at first I felt like I needed to like fit in, so I would start acting like them, like a little posse. It was so dumb. And then after that, it didn't take too long for us to meet new people and like have our own table at the cafeteria and just do our own thing. Like, it was.
And mostly you guys were all.
You just gotta stay true to yourself, because I mean, if you have a bad vibe right away and you don't like the way that's going, you'll find people that match your vibe that definitely are thinking the same thing as you too. Yeah. Like, you're not the only one thinking that. Is it normal to grieve your old life even if the new one is objectively better? I don't know how this one has to do with school. I mean, I guess it could have to do with moving schools, like me going from Iowa to FAU.
I know, but you were not moving, like, you were moving because you were like changed, like from high school to college. It's different. I mean, you can't really grieve. Well, you could grieve high school because, well, actually, I think what most high schoolers hate high school. I don't think if you would grieve that. I think you're more like, I'm out, see you later. But you still miss maybe, like, you've been together for 4 years. You just have your little routine, your little friends. You know what's going on, your group, whatever. And all of a sudden, you're just like, wham, bam, different state, new people. Yeah, living with new people. It could be.
I would say that my life now is better that I moved to Florida, but in Iowa, like in high school and stuff, you're right. Like, we were together for 4 years. Like, I grieve the times that I spent with like my swim team and just like the little things, like getting excited to like all meet up at somebody's locker in the morning before school, or like get lunch together. So I would say that I'm not friends with like really any of them anymore, but I still like grieve those times. We still have really good memories, so I guess that could pertain to school. What's the best way to deal with the loneliness that hits during the first few weeks at a new school?
That's hard. I just remember that when I moved to the United States, it was really hard. First, I can't say that it was a different country. Still doable to fly. My mom stayed for a week to help me cook, and so my dad had to go back for work. My mom stayed and cooked for me and put a bunch of stuff in the freezer, which was great. But it was so hard because you just literally know no one, and it was just like, I remember the first day I came back to my apartment and I looked at my mom and I said, the day I graduate, I'm moving back home. Like, I hate this place. And I mean, not the school, the place per se. And I stayed there for 27 years. Yeah, so.
Yeah, she's still here in the U.S.
Yeah, and well, I mean, yes, but I stayed there because, I met your dad. But I would say, though, the first day I did not know where to go, which was a big thing when you go to a college. For you and your sister, we walked around, we tried to figure out where things were. But still, on the first day of school, you think that the school is so big, like FAU and stuff. You think the school is so big, but like after the first few days, I'd say, you realize it's just like all like one big loop. Yeah. Like, you get used to it. Yeah, that's it. But the first, I remember I did not know where I was going. Class was started. There's like 200 students coming in this central nervous system class. And I met this guy and this girl. I didn't know at that time, but they were dating. And they had gone to school, did their bachelor in, she was from Orange County, California. And he was from Ohio. And that's where they had met in Ohio. And Heather and Mark. And I was in their wedding. We became friends that day. we were all of us lost. We're like, we don't even know where to go. I barely spoke. I mean, I spoke English, but I didn't really speak it fluently.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out, and she just took me under her wing, and she's like, I think this is where we're going. Follow us. And
that's the thing too, is on the first day of school, if you don't know where your class is, like other students are in the same boat. Like you're not gonna be the only one that walks in late. Even in middle school too, like all the teachers are gonna be helping you. High school, all the teachers are gonna be helping you. Like there are times that I didn't know where I was going, and they told me where to go.
I remember
or other students are gonna help you.
When she started, it's not middle school when it was the Pleasant Valley School District. It was called junior high. And she was there for 7th grade, and oh my gosh, we could go and practice to go from the locker to all the classes that you could do. And she had me time her, and we did it, oh my gosh, so many times that day. It was the easiest path because it was a U.
Yeah.
And compared to the Bettendorf High School where you guys went, it was hilarious. But hey, I did it with her.
But I would say for like loneliness, like first few days or weeks, and especially if you're like moving states to go to a new school like college, you almost just went off the road there.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did. You literally looked out to the side and we went off. But anyway, I would say too, this sounds like cringe, but like join clubs or like just put yourself out there. There's a lot of Instagram groups and Facebook groups, and that's how I met my roommates, and I'm still friends with them. And I'm actually in an Instagram group right now for South Florida girls, and they already made a bunch of plans to go out to places in Boca and Fort Lauderdale and just like go get dinner together. So there's groups out there. So I would just say put yourself out there.
There's club for us. For me, when I got there was a Quebec club because you know, we all spoke French and stuff, you know, and that talk about loneliness, you know, I was bilingual, but I was still thinking in French. So by the time I was, you know, in a conversation, like let's say you would ask me a question, I would translate it in my head before I would answer. Well, if we were with a group of people, like by the time I was done translating and answering you know, ready to answer the question, the conversation was already moved on to something else. So I was not talking to anybody until I just saw Quebec Club, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. I'm gonna go speak French a little bit, and they helped me, you know, get. Then it was a French Canadian girl in my class too, and we graduated together. So yeah.
What's your advice for keeping old friendships alive when distance makes it hard to stay connected?
Well, my friends from Palmer College, they're all international. There was just a couple in the United States that couple that I just talked to you about. The other ones were from Canada and Europe, all over Europe. So you don't talk to them all the time, but when you do, it's just like my friend Stephanie that I met first day of first grade. We see each other maybe once a year, if that, if we're lucky, and you just pick up where you left, which is very important. I think just, you know, if we all had nicknames when we were at Palmer, and then we will kind of, you know, text each other or call each other and just come up with the nickname. And it's just like, I'm sorry, we have to slow down. There's a car on the side of the road here. Just trying to be safe. But so I think it's important to keep, you're not going to be talking to them every day unless you guys move to the same place, whatever. But just keep in touch.
And that's okay to like, because you guys have your own separate lives with where you're at.
Now, like, you know, we're married. We all went to each other's wedding. If for the ones that were possible. I didn't go to my friend Joel. It was in Sweden, and I couldn't make it. You guys were babies, but yeah, it just, you know, there was a reunion. Everybody was there, and you know, one of our friends, Pam, died. I mean, we sent each other's flowers for this. It's just you're gonna have this connection because you went through a very important part of your life, and you grew a lot, and you lived together and whatnot. And like, I mean, unless you had a bad experience. If you have a good experience, you will stay friends with them, and you just keep in touch like that a little bit. And you know, now there's social media, so clearly everybody follows each other's lives. You know,
but
so
I have my childhood best friend here in Iowa, and I will go visit her. Obviously, it won't be for like long periods of time, and we don't call a lot. Like, we're not the type of people to like call, but we like when we're together, we have such a good time that it feels like I saw her yesterday. And then my friend Ice, who I went to school with at FAU, she transferred and now she's in Pennsylvania back home. My earring just fell out. There we go. She transferred to Pennsylvania, and when we have our FaceTime calls, they'll go for like
A long time.
a very long time. But we'll just like rant about everything that's happened and just catch each other up, and that makes it so much more fun. Is when you're not able to. It sucks that you're not able to talk as much, but when you do the FaceTime calls, it's like you can just sit there and talk for however long. So that would be how I stay connected.
Touch, but you know, is that you can't be mad that somebody doesn't call you as much, you know, or vice versa. Everybody has their own lives. Everybody has their, you know, job, family now and whatnot. But yeah, just keep in touch. Even if it's a text. Like I just heard from our old neighbors, the Chamberlain, and like their daughter was very best friends with my youngest one when we lived in Iowa, and they moved to North Dakota for the husband works for John Deere. And we moved to Florida, and we still sometimes text each other, and all of a sudden last week she's like, hey, we're going to be in Florida that weekend. I'm in Orlando. Can we make this happen? Can the girls see each other? You know, things like this. Just, let's make it work. It's in July, but you know, we all have our very busy lives. So like, it's in the calendar. This is what we're going to do. We know this weekend is blocked, and we can't wait.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't have the expectation that you're going to be like talking to these people every day, all day. I mean, at first Ice and I did, but you just have your own life, and that's okay. But still, like, putting in the effort and having those long FaceTime calls. Now we're going to jump into... Did you want to say something?
No, sometimes it's actually, like, refreshing to talk to your friends and to... Yeah, you don't have to explain to yourself. You don't have to... You know, I haven't made new friends yet, you know, in Florida, but... You know, you seem like you have to kind of explain your life a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when you meet new friends, like, you don't. When it's your old friend, you just... pick up where you left off, and
now we're gonna jump into moving houses.
So Catherine really loved her milk, when she was a baby, and she knew in the door of the fridge where the milk was, and milk in French is lait. And we went to do the final walkthrough to make sure we didn't forget anything and to say goodbye to our house, because we had built, it was our first house, we built it, your dad and I, and so you and Isabella were born, and you know, first few years of your lives were there, and you ran, and you too kind of walked in and realized like there's nothing left in the house, like what is going on, and you ran to the fridge and you opened the fridge and you're like, let, and you were crying, you were completely devastated. The milk wasn't there.
Well,
I think we took pictures or we filmed it. I don't know. I think we filmed it. But it was so sad. I know your dad and I had tears because, you know, we just, for you that was, you know, something special anyways. But
another thing that we do every time we move is we do a cartwheel. It all began at the 2 houses ago, I guess. My childhood best friend's family was there. And we were there, and we have so many memories in the house. We had a playroom and everything. And my best friend's mom took a video, and she's like, all right, girls, do your last cartwheel. And so she's crying, and we're like crying and laughing at the same time. And it's just so like, it was just comedic, because it was like, what the fuck are we doing?
She was crying more than
and we
else.
each did a cartwheel in the playroom one last time. And then we did it at Benwood's too. So I was like, we have to do it, because this is funny. Then at the townhouse, I was like, Mom, all right, now you got to hold the phone, fake cry, and we each have to do a cartwitwheel. And
we just looked at it.
I don't know how we lost the like ability to do cartwheels, but it was brutal.
I was
like,
horrible.
Damn. Like none of us, I don't think any of us actually completed a full cartwheel.
It was kind of, you had a skirt on too, that didn't help, but
yeah. But anyway, first question. How do you create a sense of home in a place that doesn't feel like yours yet?
You need to bring some stuff that is unique to you. That's something that you...
Like sentimental?
Yeah. Whether it's a picture, a book, a lamp, anything. That it's like, I think to move from one place to another, even if you buy new furniture or if you're new to it, you bring something that will be with you forever.
Yeah.
And that will actually help you make it a home. Even if it could be a candle, like your favorite candle.
And decorate it like the way you want. Like have fun with it. And I feel like that'll help make it feel like home is... Yeah. If you're like proud of the home that you've created.
Make sure you bring you in it. Yes.
Yeah.
so that when you come back, if you haven't met friends yet, or you haven't have a group of friends, like, or club, whatever, that you actually want to be home.
This is a really good question. What's your advice for processing nostalgia or sadness about leaving a childhood home? This is so true because every time we pass by our Iowa house, I would sometimes just drive past there and just cry, and I'd be like, oh my God, because there's so many great memories there. But
amazing memory, yeah.
It's not like, I mean, yes, there's sadness, but also I would switch that thinking and just like be grateful for all the memories that you made in that childhood home, and now you're just on the next phase in life and you're able to make more memories in like the new place you're at and cherish those new memories that you're going to make. So that's my little advice.
You'll make new memories and you'll have fun in the new house too. But yes, it is hard because then you remember like, oh my gosh, what we did, I mean, for me is when my parents sold the house where I grew up. So when I was 6 years old, before first grade, my parents moved from Montreal, the city of Montreal, up north, in a residential town, and that's where I grew up. Even when I moved to the United States, my parents kept that house. But when they figured out that I was engaged and I was not coming back, they're like, "Why are we keeping this big ass house? Right? We're just gonna sell it." And they sold it and moved out in July, and I was getting married in September. And they had this beautiful staircase, like oak staircase. And, like as a little girl, always saw myself coming down the staircase in my big wedding gown, and my dad would be there and blah, blah, blah. That was more devastating than the fact that I moved and I had such amazing memories. Because, all the parties I did for, when we had our homes. Well, that's how my parents were when I grew up. We were the one with the pool and the backyard with the games and this and that, which is what we had when you grew up. And so we always had, our family and friends were always at our house. So it was like, and then in retrospect, you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I miss the most and stuff. But I remember crying because I was not going to walk down that stupid freaking staircase that all my life I thought I was.
No, I always said that I would buy back our house when I'm older and have the money and keep it, because I love the house so much.
It was built we thought we were going to live there forever. So,
moving on to like more family dynamics when moving. How can you stay grounded when your family's struggling with the move too? Or like if your siblings struggling emotionally with it or just adapting to it differently, like how do you go about that? I would say Amelia, like she didn't have any friends or anything when she moved to Florida, so that was really hard on her. She's going to have to move to a whole new school.
We're starting middle school, just like you. Starting sixth grade in a new school. So, and
we also were all like cooped up in our like condo until we sold it. So I think that all of us just had a hard time because things weren't moving. This condo wasn't selling, and
still hasn't sold. If you guys want to buy it,
I think just recognition is important. That we could recognize that we like would get frustrated and like angry at each other because of it, and I don't know, just like apologize after.
I think, yeah.
And also, I'm putting Amelia, like keeping Amelia positive about it and like telling her that to join the swim team so that she makes friends. And now she has friends. So just pushing her to try something new, like try a new swim team.
Yeah.
So that she can make
some friends. She's going to make new friends at school and need to register her in a new school too. But just the fact that, and you guys, you need to, like the perspective of what we're saying, like we're not complaining where we're living right now. It's beautiful. It's on an island. Like it's, I can't, that's not what we're saying. However, there's 2 bedrooms. We're 4 people. So, like I know you guys, you and Bryce are, obviously together, but me and Amelia, I'm a mom, daughter. I mean, it was funny at the beginning, like, hey, but now it's like she wants her bedroom. I want my bedroom, we need, to just kind of have a little bit of our own time, and different rooms. We only have
because we talk about alone time being important, but it's hard to when you can't. But that was my really only question for the family dynamic, because everybody reacts to it in a different way and adapts in a different way.
Well, like when we moved after Dad and I separated and I moved into the townhome, it was it was hard a little bit on Amelia too, because she did switch school. And then we actually eventually moved her to homeschool at our friend's house. But, there was not really friends there too. There were friends, but I think it was a place like like a lot of people were transitioning
Yeah.
where we lived. So there was, she would make friends and all of a sudden they would move and be like, oh crap. So then make another group of friends. Oh, then they would move. So it was, so I think she's the one that with moving stuff. I think you and your sister Isabella had a easier time.
Yeah, she kind of.
I think she's the one that's
Yeah.
Now I think she's ready to really just settle somewhere and go to school and meet friends,
Meet
and
people,
then,
be able to keep
and have
hanging
these
with them.
friends until she goes to college. Yeah.
Now for moving states or countries, what's something unexpected you learned about yourself when you moved far away?
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
To make friends. That's one thing. But I will say, I don't know, it was different because when I moved, I was a college student. So, my parents were helping me. So there's a lot of things that they came and helped me with, like set up like an account, an apartment, insurance, blah, 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 blah. Now that I made the move with my kids to another state, oh my gosh, like not just insurance, doctors, cars, DMV, the car guy, the whatever guy, just the eye guy. It's just all new. You're so used to have your not your team, but your village, whatever, of, everybody that where to go when you need something. And now you're just like, oh, shit, where do I go? Like I had to go to the urgent care. I'm like, which one? Where do I go? And I know where to go, like just little things like this is it's so much preparation, and actually my friend Jody Stone, shout out to Jody if she listens, her husband worked for John Deere, so they moved even like literally in Asia. And yes, John Deere helps a lot. Don't get me wrong. Like they all have like little checklists, and it's very well organized. You still have to find new people. Yeah. Like, so it's just, so she's the one that helped me a lot. She's like, just make a list, like think about it and blah, blah. So even moving from like the condo to our new home, I still have my list because anyways, you need to make all the address change. This is freaking pain in the ass, literally. But I still have all my checklist of things to.
Well, you didn't really answer the question, but that's still helpful. What I learned about myself, is that I'm a lot more independent than I thought I was. I thought I was a dependent person, but I'm actually very independent. And I also learned that that when I have my own place in my own room, I'm actually an extremely clean person. Because I'm usually a messy person, but when it's my own place, you saw my dorm. It was spotless.
You live in my house now, and
it's not that bad. It's not as bad as my last room, but anyway, my dorm was like spotless, and I realized that when I have my own place in my own like room that it's mine.
It was like so clean. Dishwasher, I can tell you that, guys.
Well, we have a dishwasher in college,
she has a freaking stroke every time she puts something in the dishwasher. I guess I'm so sorry. Yes, you realize how independent you need to be, and you have to be when you move. Yes.
I'm kind of proud of myself for that. Next question. How do you keep your identity grounded when your whole environment changes?
That's self, I guess. What's the word I'm looking for? Keep to your routine. Very important.
Yeah. No, you do need to, it's allow yourself to change and adapt to like your environment, but stay true to yourself. Yeah. Like it's okay to change. Stay grounded
to your.
But don't change because other people want you to, or like these new people in this new place want you to. Like,
your beliefs,
if that doesn't feel right, don't change it.
Your beliefs, your routine, what you do, self-care, all that's going to help you.
Yeah. And then last question for this topic. How do you say goodbye to a place that meant everything to you, especially when no one else seems to understand how hard it is? Was it hard for you to say goodbye to Montreal?
Well, in my mind, I was coming back. So it was hard because the friends I had, same thing as you guys, like you were talking. I was in high school, saw my friends all the time, went to college. Although you still live at home when you go to college in Montreal. It's just, I don't know, I didn't see the same friends. And I made new friends, but it was not the same thing. Like you were not hanging out every night or whatever, So when I moved, I guess it didn't, not that it didn't break my heart, but I didn't have as many friends I was saying bye to, because anyways, I thought I was coming back. I will see, when I moved from Iowa to Florida, that was a little harder.
No, yeah, it was a
My
hard
friends
goodbye.
were, like, there I didn't have like family. I had, my friends were my family, so it's that was a whole lot harder.
But then again, like,
But I'm
it's
close
a
to
hard
my
goodbye,
family.
but like, that's the true friendship, is that like you're able to continue being friends with them no matter where you're at.
But you know my family, you know Memi's side of the family, my mom's side, we're extremely close, like ridiculously close, and we all get along. We text, message, call, whatever, every day, and even if we don't answer right away, but still we do. So that was hard for me, especially when they were saying like, oh, we all met for like Father's Day, blah blah, and we did, and I know what they did because we used to do it all the time. And I was like, oh, like I'm missing all this.
Yeah.
So even now, like they're all at.
So it's still very hard, but
yeah, like they're all at my aunt's house right now. This weekend, I'm just like I would be there. I would love to be there, but.
I guess this question would be good for you. What does starting over really feel like, and how do you make peace with it? I mean, I guess I started over when I went to FAU, and it was great. Like, I really found out a lot about myself, and it was a great learning experience, and I met really good people. But
you find yourself,
and yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
And I think it's really nice to like get out of your comfort zone and go somewhere new when you're young, because it forces you to become independent and learn a lot. But for you, I mean, you're starting over at like a different age.
We don't need to say what age. And I have still a kid, a daughter that stays home. So it's puts life in perspective. Priorities. I mean, when you have kids, priorities change. But now that I'm on my own, priorities change again. It takes a little longer to adapt because you're that one person. And but I guess I like challenges, and I was raised by my dad to be and my mom, but to be extremely independent. So I kind of found my independency back. So can I say that way? That makes sense? Independence back. And now I make more decisions. I mean, I make decisions. Maybe I take more of my time to make the decision, but it's me. So, yeah.
And then a couple just deep questions to wrap this all up. What does home actually mean to you, and has the definition changed over time?
So changed over time. When I was younger, home was like where my parents were.
Yeah.
Where my family was, which it really doesn't change in a sense. Like, what is home? I mean, I go visit my mom; it's her house and whatnot. But home is when you guys are all with me.
Yeah.
And I don't care if we are at somebody else's house. If my 3 girls are with me, then this is my home. This is my heart. My heart is all there. But I really love to see all you guys in my home, together.
So something my roommates and I actually discussed freshman year is we started to start saying like, let's go back home, or like I want to go back home, and we would start calling our dorm home. And my roommate actually accidentally called her dorm home when she was at her parents' house, and she was like, I felt so bad because like it just feels so wrong to like call the dorm my home, but it's like,
but that's where you live
it's
now.
my home now. And it was so like weird for all of us kind of get this realization that like we now started calling it home. And I mean, I had a lot of, it did feel like home in a sense, but I don't know. I don't think home needs to be one specific place. Because
so
now like
are there.
going back home to Iowa, I still call Iowa my home, but I have no place there. Like nobody really lives there except for my childhood best friend and all my memories and like where I grew up. So I'm still going to call Iowa my home, even though my home's in Florida. So if that makes sense. Like I'm sure you'd call Montreal home.
I still say home. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have more than one home, but when you say like my home is my girls. So.
Let's see. What gave you hope during your biggest transition?
Well, I guess when I moved from house to house is because, we were building a new home or whatever,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But when I did the big move to Florida, I guess what kept me positive
Yeah.
was that it wasn't like, I don't say necessary move, but it was to grow and move on with my life and my kids. And so that's what, and I'm actually really keeping God in my life, even more present than he's ever been. It really gave me hope.
Yeah.
And to keep going. But yeah, because like it's a bright future and we're moving on to something bigger and better. So that keeps you. Don't get me wrong. It's day-to-day struggle.
God's got a plan for you, and there are bigger things coming. You just have to hold on to that hope.
Sometimes I wonder what's his plan, like his timeline. But
yeah, you got to stay strong in your hope and faith, and he will provide. But yeah, no, I think that embracing change is very important, and that, like, I know a lot of people who kind of hold on to like their past, and they're really scared of change and scared of moving on to like the next chapter, so they kind of hold themselves back. But you're not going to be able to see any, I don't know, you're not going to see yourself be able to succeed and thrive if you don't embrace that change. So
growth involves change.
Yeah.
So it's coming out of your comfort zone, like your comfort box, whatever it's called. Stepping out of the box it takes a lot of courage, and it's really hard, and I've done it, and it's scary because you're going into the unknown or uncomfortableness. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what? It's doable, and you need to do it. And if you have like good friends and family, that helps even better.
Yeah,
so,
support
it's doable.
You. Yep. But that is all we have for today's episode. We have about an hour left of the drive, so I'm gonna take a nap. But before we end you can keep driving. Before we end every episode, we do a Would You Rather. So,
well, first we're gonna talk just a review on the coffee. Go see Kennedy.
Go see Kennedy in Boca, Tortuga Beach Company. Go get a bikini and go get a coffee, and tell her I say hi, and get their banana bread or cookies, because she makes the cookies. So, yeah.
Wait,
and then
what? She makes them?
They make them there. They make the banana bread and the cookies.
Well, I didn't know she was making them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the coffee. She's a barista.
Well, I know she's a barista. I didn't know she was baking the cookies. Okay.
Yep. Okay, and we end every episode with a Would You Rather, so she's going to ask me.
I'm driving and reading. Would you rather have a fresh start where no one knows you, or stay somewhere familiar where you feel stuck in who you used to be?
I would do a fresh start where nobody knows me, because, again, like we just talked about, like getting out of your comfort zone and change and stuff, and I feel like nobody would know my cringy past, so I could start fresh, and then I could, get to know some cool new people, and I think that'd be fun. Just leave
because we just said
the past behind, I guess.
Growth is, change requires growth, and growth requires change. So there you go.
Yes. So that is my answer. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great Easter weekend. Happy Easter. Go follow us on TikTok at @coffee_break, Instagram at @coffee.break, YouTube @coffee break with Cat and Mom. Make sure you subscribe. Our podcasts are on Spotify and YouTube. But we're on all other platforms, like Amazon Music and all that good stuff. I think that's all.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe, comment, let us know if you guys like today's episode, and if you guys want to hear specific topics, DM us on Instagram if that is the case. And yeah, have a great Sunday. Bye guys. Love you.
Bye guys.